This meeting
Let me. Okay. Just to give.
this meeting is being recorded.
Yeah. This. Just to give everyone a heads up, right? So this session will be recorded. All right. So don't worry. Yeah. Okay. So let's start. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. So thank you everyone for joining us today. So my name is Waning and I'm from WORQ. So to those who have not heard of WORQ before, right? So allow me to give a very brief introduction of who we are. So we are actually a community-centric co-working space, and our mission is actually to help people prosper by working together under the same roof. So other than like us just providing a flexible office space for solutions, right? So we actually provide a platform to help connecting people in their businesses. And of course, today we are actually very happy to be collaborating with SimilarWeb and then with InPlainSight as well in today's webinar. So today we actually be learning about transforming data into actionable insights to help grow your business. All right. So our speakers today, of course, are none other than Mr. Jason, who's the Director of Sales of SimilarWeb Southeast Asia. And then, of course, Miss Joey, who's the General Manager, Analytics and Operations of InPlainSight Southeast Asia. All right. So, of course, we will begin with the first half session with Jason first, and then whereby he'll be sharing with us about 5 steps to your market, and then it'll follow by second half of the session with Joey of InPlainSight. So for Joey's side, she'll be using a lot of the key studies to share with us today later. All right. So, and then after that, towards the last part of today's session, whereby it will be the Q&A session. So, guys, feel free to utilize the comment chat box function below, and then you ask your questions away. So, during the Q&A session, Jason will be picking up and answering all. Jason and Joey, sorry, they will be picking up and answer all the questions from there. All right. So, yeah, without further ado, let me just hand over the session to Jason first. All right. So, Jason, the stage is all yours. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Waning. So hi, everyone. Before that, I think let me start to share my screen. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen right now. Okay, cool. So, yep. Hi, everyone again. So my name is Jason. I'm from SimilarWeb Southeast Asia office. So just a quick intro, SimilarWeb is actually a market intelligence company that provide you data that you actually needed so that you can actually make a better decisions. So today, basically, my sharing session for the first half is to share with you guys some of the digital signal or data that is actually available in the market and how you can actually use all this data to win or maybe to stand out amongst your competitors. Because we all know that when you are in a business, you have the competitors that are actually trying to get the same pie of cake from you. Okay. So some intro about myself. I'm actually from publisher background in the sales team in one of the publisher in Malaysia. So during that time, I'm actually work with the agency as well as the client in doing their branding and as well as to look into how we can actually promoting them to their consumer. So when joining SimilarWeb right now, I'm actually leading the sales team here for the Southeast Asia market. And from here in SimilarWeb, we work with a lot of different type of client, from the startup to the unicorn in the market, as well as the enterprise companies in the region here. Okay. All right. So let me move my screen. Okay. So to start our session today, I would like to actually to highlight some of the digital landscape that we can see in our current market right now, right? So I believe you guys will definitely agree with me that for the past 2 years, when COVID-19, the pandemic started, it actually affected a lot of our daily life. So a lot of our behavior is actually changed, okay? And a lot of things that we start to do, for instance, maybe purchase car online, or maybe you actually try out to purchase your grocery online. So because of all this, because of the pandemic, it actually also changed how business actually doing for now, okay? So for these changes here, I would say there is actually 3 stages, all right? So what we can see here is that we have the pre-pandemic, which is before year 2020. And we also have during pandemic time. And I think right now is the after the COVID-19 pandemic. So let's look at before 2020, right, which is the pre-pandemic stage, right? So during this period of time, right, I think if you still remember, and if you are in the marketing team, a lot of time when you're actually trying to promote your business, or maybe you're actually crafting your marketing plan, a lot of time you will say people mention about, hey, maybe we can try to put more money in digital, okay? Something we call digital first. You actually allocate some money for your traditional media spend, and also maybe you start to allocate more money to spend on online, Facebook, Google, or maybe some other online platform. So when come to year 2020, when COVID-19 actually start to hit us in, I think in Malaysia, it should be during the March and April time. This actually make a lot of huge changes to all the businesses in our region here. So a lot of time during this period of time for a lot of businesses, for them is actually only digital. So during this period of time, if you still remember, it start like some of the car brand that actually promoting for you to purchase car on marketplace. And something that we couldn't imagine last time is that property client that start to actually having virtual showroom, where you actually visit the showroom on your computer, and then maybe you can even make a booking on the online platform as well. So this is all during the pandemic time, okay? So what happened right now, I think 1st April, we all know we actually start to entering the post-pandemic period. And during this period of time, we do see some changes here, of course. For instance, last time during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people actually visiting the grocery site. So during last year, we can see the traffic to all these grocery sites actually decline a bit. But if let's say we compare between this period and versus the pre-pandemic time, right, we do see the traffic that go to a lot of website, a lot of industry, e-commerce, grocery. The traffic is actually even higher compared to before the COVID-19 pandemic. So I would say in conclusion, this pandemic actually accelerate a lot of digital transformation in a lot of businesses. So although it will actually end, but I would say a lot of our behavior, right, will be here to stay. So for instance here, let's say you might actually start to use to purchase your grocery online. So this is some of the behavior that you will still keep until now. So with all the brands and a lot of the consumer, everything is happening on the digital world. So this actually make the digital world right now become a black box. And it also created an intense competition because everyone is trying to grab the audience attention here. So a lot of time questions might be raised during this time is when you actually try to do some campaign on digital, on online, who you should target, or maybe who is actually competing with you in this space. Okay, sometimes they might not your direct competitor. Okay, so before we look into all this, right, I think it's also very important for us to understand what are the available digital signals in the market. So just now we know that right now the digital world is very intense competition. So it's very important for you to utilize the data that is actually available. So a lot of time when it comes to the available digital signal, we usually categorize them into two types here. So first is actually your own set of data. So for a lot of businesses that actually use Google Analytics, some actually use Adobe. Using this kind of tools, right, it actually helps you to understand how your website actually performs. Okay, for instance, if your website is actually growing, how many % in this quarter, or your website is it growing in a certain month? Okay, but aside from your own analytics data, right, there are still other available digital signal or data in the market, such as data from Facebook, data from Google, for instance, the Google trend, as well as Google keywords kind of information. And of course, there is also market intelligence data from tools like SimilarWeb, and also statistic kind of data from Statista. So all these available digital signal is in the market, and how you utilize them, right, will definitely help you in allocating the right resources in the right market, in the right channel. Okay, right? So why today you actually need more than just your own data? So you might think that today, actually, if you are using Google Analytics, you might think that it is enough because I know how my website is doing. Okay, so just to give you a scenario why you actually need more than that. So if today, this is what you see on your direct measurement report, you see that your website traffic is actually increased 15%. So internally, when you see this increase, of course, you will think that, hey, yes, we actually do something great here. a lot of more people is actually coming to our website. All right. But what happened here is, if let's say today, right, you are actually comparing this with your competitor. So what we are seeing right now is, just now you see that you increased 15%, but when you compare to the rest, right, for instance, the competitor A in the market is actually grow by 24%, and competitor B in the market is actually grow by 32%. So the question here right now is, the 15% growth that we see earlier internally, does this actually enough? So a lot of time we heard people talk about data is actually meaningless without comparison. This is because if you just look at your own set of data, right, you might not know whether you are on track with the industry trend or you are actually on par with your competitor growth rate. That's why it is important for you to utilize more than just your own set of data. Okay, so what SimilarWeb do here is that we provide you the digital analytics, media performance, and of course, the insight that you need for any website, any mobile application, as well as all the markets and all the industry that you can actually find on our platform. So with all this data that you can actually get from a SimilarWeb platform, it actually will help you in making a better decision. Because based on the data that you see on the platform, or maybe you collected, this will definitely help you to actually put in your resources into a more effective channel. So what SimilarWeb do here is that we actually collecting big data. Okay, so our data is actually collected based on the real user behavior, and this is the real clicks that they actually perform online. For instance, which website they visit, what kind of keywords they actually search online. So this is actually passive tracking of what people actually do. Okay, so it's not like what they say in a survey. And with this unique methodology, it actually helps SimilarWeb to capture all this data on real-time basis. A lot of time when you are looking into reports, or maybe when you are looking into some of the market intelligence data, it might be actually outdated. Let's say it's something that for the last year or maybe for the past quarter. But what you see on similar platform, it will be something that recorded in real time, what happening in the last 28 days, or even what happening in the last 7 days. And lastly here, similar data is meeting industry standard. So let's say internally in Malaysia and also in the region here, SimilarWeb is actually endorsed by associations such as Malaysian Digital Association, MDA in Malaysia, the Indonesia Digital Association as well, and also some of the advertising association. Aside from that, today, the world's leading brand is also using similar data in making the business decision. So some of them is like Google, Adidas, eBay, and also brands like Samsung. All right. And if let's say we are looking into our region here for Southeast Asia and also in Malaysia, players like Lazada, and let's say for the media group in our country here, like Media Prima, Star Media Group, they are using SimilarWeb data as well in their daily digital operation. And if you can see here, even the new brand that, the new restaurant brand that come into Malaysia, which is Jollibee, they're also using data right now. Okay, so let's say today you have not heard about SimilarWeb before. Later, after the session today, you can actually go to our website, which is similarweb.com. We actually also provide a free service here where you can actually just put in the URL link of any website. Then we will actually show you how this website performed in the last 3 months. Okay, and feel free to sign up, log in with us, and it will actually give you a 7 days trial. All right, so back to our topics today. 5 steps to stand out amongst your competitor. So just now, we talk about the available digital signal in the market, right? Like something like market intelligence tool like SimilarWeb provide to you. So if you actually know how to utilize all this digital signal, right, it will definitely help you to move up and also to perform better than your competitors in the market, because you can actually use tools like SimilarWeb to track what your competitor is actually doing. So the first step that we will share today is understand your market. It is important to actually for you to measure your market share first, okay? So that you know that how your industry is actually performing overall. And more importantly, to understand where you actually stand in the market. Let's say today you are in the web hosting and domain name industry, okay? Using the industry analysis, first you look at what is the total visits of the whole industry. Okay, this is very important because you want to know whether the industry is actually growing. Okay, and of course, and to analyze the trend of the traffic growth in the industry as well. So if let's say today, right, when we are comparing on year, let's say what we see here is from year 2020 to year 2021, we can see that the traffic that go to web hosting and domain name industry is actually grow by 15%. Okay, if today you are a web hosting provider, but your growth is actually grow less than 15%, then you know that you are perform below the rest of the market. So like we mentioned earlier, the comparison part. So it's important for you to know that whether your growth internally is on par with your industry growth. Okay. So after we look at the industry share just now, then we can actually look into which channel that actually drive the most traffic to other players in the industry. Okay. SimilarWeb break down the traffic of a website into these 7 marketing channels. So like what you see on the screen here, from direct up to keywords, which is the search channel, to referrals, as well as display advertisement. So from here, you can actually look into which channel is actually perform well for the industry. And it also can serve as an industry benchmark internally. Let's say today from your own analytics, you know that 30% of your traffic is coming in from organic search. Okay, then you know that in the market, in the industry, is actually 34%. Or if you are trying to actually invest in the paid channel, you can see that for the industry is actually getting 3% of share from the paid search channel. So this is something that you can serve as an industry benchmark. Okay. And moreover, aside from this, right, you can also consider following the industry marketing track. So this is actually very important because from here, you can actually optimize your effort, okay, based on the trend, or maybe there could be a seasonal promotion in your industry. So for instance, what we see from here is, let's say for the paid search and display ad channel that you see here, it could be in a certain month that other players actually try to invest more so that they can get more traffic based on these 2 channels. So this is the trend that you can actually analyze and you can actually consider following. Okay. So once we actually look at in terms of the trend and then also on the share, we can also look into discover the key players in the market. It is very important for you to understand who you're actually competing with. Okay, so using the industry analysis, you can actually identify who is actually winning, who is losing the market share, as well as who are the emerging players. When you are in a market, most of the time your focus is actually only for the top few players in the market. Okay, you actually just monitor these few players, but you might forget that there might be emerging players in the market that maybe they are starting to take the market share. So this is something that you will be able to monitor using the industry analysis, and you should actually monitor all this information. All right, so the second step here is discover the market trend. It is important for you to actually identify the search intent of your audience, okay, what they search on Google or maybe on Yahoo, because from here, it will help you to understand the market demand for a specific industry, for a particular brand, or even a specific product. And after you understand their search intent here, it will also help you to create an effective marketing campaign. So there are 4 types of search intent, okay? The first one is actually informational intent. During this stage of intent, right, this is where user or consumer, they are trying to looking for information. So for instance here, let's say for web hosting industry, right, during this stage, the consumer might search something like domain name, logo maker. They don't know, they only want to look for information for this type of service, okay? The second type of intent here is navigational intent. So during this stage of intent, right, is when a consumer, they already know they want to visit to which website. Okay, for example, right now, you know that Exabyte got provide this kind of service. So you might search Exabyte domain name, or maybe you search Exabyte website. All right. The third stage here is actually the transactional intent. When it comes to transactional intent, right, the consumer is trying to actually buy something. Okay, they already know exactly what they want to buy. When it comes to this stage, right, the search will be actually quite specific. Okay, for instance, here they might search Exabyte business web hosting plan. So if you actually analyze from your search intent, right, you saw that a lot of people search about a particular product that you are offering. then you know that the consumer is actually trying to purchase something from you. Okay. And the fourth type of intent here is commercial intent. In this stage of intent, right, the consumer actually has the transactional intent. They want to buy something, but they want to learn more before making the purchase. During this time, you will see people search about best web hosting, or maybe they are searching between you versus your competitor. Okay, so what we can do here is you can actually look into the search intent of your brand. It's very important for you to look into protecting your traffic share for your brand, because you want everyone that search about your brand, right, end up they are actually visiting your website. So from here, you can actually analyze when someone search about your brand name on Google or maybe on Yahoo, how many % of them actually landed on your website. And at the same time, you can look into all the top keywords or all the related all the searches that related to your brand name as well, so that you can actually understand what is the stage of the search intent that we discussed just now that is related to your product. Okay, so the third step here is benchmarking your direct competitors. So just now we look at the industry, right? And from there, you will identify who is actually directly competing with you. So from here, the third step here is you directly compare with your direct competitor. Find out how user, how the consumer, how the audience is actually engaging with your competitor site. Using your own analytics, you know how people engage at your site. But when you use tools like SimilarWeb, right, you can do all these comparisons. For instance, what we are seeing right now is not just comparing the monthly visits, but you can even compare some of the metrics like visit duration, whether people actually spend more time on my website or in my competitor site, as well as the bounce rate, so that you can actually check out the quality of your visits. So what happened here is, let's say today you can see exabyte bounce rate is 36% and your competitor bounce rate is actually lower. So what happened if, let's say, you can optimize towards that lower bounce rate here? Okay, and more importantly is to monitor your competitor traffic and engagement over time, because let's say you saw a spike in your competitor traffic during this period of time, then you know that your competitor is actually start doing something. All right. So once we actually compare our web performance, then the fourth step here is start to uncover opportunity using all this data that you collected. So from here, you can actually investigate which channel, which marketing channel that actually driving the most traffic to your competitor. This will actually help you to review your competitor user acquisition methods, how they actually get people to go to their website. Okay. So from here, let's say from based on the channel that we see here, you can actually find out if your competitor is actually investing more in search channel, they are buying more keywords on Google, or maybe today they are working with a specific partner in the market, or they are actually allocating more resources in the display ad channel. They are buying more programmatic advertisement online, right? So based on here, you can analyze the trend as well to see when in a year that your competitor likely to allocate more resources and more budget into pushing traffic from that channel as well. Okay, so once we uncover the opportunity, you learn more about your competitor. The last step for today is it's time for you to build a data-driven marketing plan. I believe a lot of you today, you heard about data-driven, and this definitely will be something that you are working on as well. For us in SimilarWeb, we have been working with a lot of clients that use our data here. We would say that data-driven marketing plan is the time that where you actually allocate your resources in the right channel. Because based on all this data, you can actually identify what is actually working best for your industry. So when you actually put your investment into this channel here, then it might actually be more effective. Okay. So during this, when you are building this marketing plan here, there are actually a few ways that you can actually look into it. First is actually on the keywords. So using the keywords analysis, using the keywords data, you can actually identify the keywords opportunity or the keywords that you're actually losing to your competitor. It is important for you to look at what are the keywords that you don't target, but your competitor is actually targeting that. Okay. And it's also good to actually look at, let's say today, the keywords that you already pursue, but you're actually losing out to your competitor. If you know that you are beating on the keywords, but your competitor is getting more, then you should review your strategy here. And at the same time, you can also look into what are the keywords that paid by your competitor and check out their advertisement copy on Google as well. All right. So aside from looking into search, you can, when building up your data-driven strategy, you can look at your affiliate strategy as well. By reviewing the incoming traffic that go to your competitor site or go to your website, you can actually identify which partner that maybe you can actually partnering with that. So you can use us to actually check out which website send traffic to your competitor. From here, you might find a new partner as well, because if they are sending traffic to your competitor, right, they might be potentially could be a partner for you, and you might actually working more better with that. Okay. So the last one here is actually on the display ad strategy. After you're reviewing on the partner side, you can also check out where your competitor is actually allocating or is actually putting up their money in the display ad channel via programmatic buy. So you can check out which ad network is actually perform well for your competitor, as well as which publisher is actually sending most traffic to them as well. So one idea here is that because using this analysis here, right, you know which platform work best for your competitor tests out for you. So if this is something that work for them, since you are in the same industry, this might be something that you can actually benefit from it as well. Or maybe something that you can actually consistently monitor to make sure that you know what's happening in the market. All right. So that's the 5 steps on how you can actually utilize the available data or digital signals that are available in the market. So for the key takeaways today, I just want to recap on some of the important points here. So first, you need to know if your website trend represent of the larger industry trend. So it's very important for you to know that if your growth rate is actually on par with your industry growth rate. Second point here is benchmarking allows you to see how your marketing efforts are actually performing. So remember, the key point here is data are meaningless without benchmarking. Okay, by doing all this benchmarking, you know how you stand. Okay, and definitely you can also discover the new opportunity for growth as well. And third one here is marketers should always review the competitor digital campaigns. I believe everyone do competitor analysis, right? So why this is important? Because you want to know, you want to keep track on what your competitor is actually doing. Okay, and from here, it might actually help you to draw your own set of digital campaign as well. Okay, and lastly here, analyzing where your competitors have found success. Okay, this can definitely help you to increase your traffic share as well. As I mentioned earlier, your competitor tests out the channel for you. If this is something that works for your for other players in your industry, this might be something that works effectively for you as well. Okay, so I hope this sharing session today, the first half session today, help you to know more about what kind of data that you can actually utilize, and this 5 steps on how you can actually look into the market, compare versus your direct competitor, and also to help you in your data-driven marketing plan. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce to you guys our partners in Malaysia, InPlainSight. Joey from InPlainSight, because they are actually in our region here, they help with a lot of our similar clients in actually throughout their data transformation and also to utilize similar data in the region here as well. Okay, so over to you, Joey.
Thanks, Jason. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
Yes.
So first of all, I would like to thank you all for making time for this, especially to the WORQ team for making this happen. So let's begin. Without saying, we know data is a new goal, regardless of whether it's own or third-party data. It is one of the most valuable resources you acquire to improve any business strategy or approaches. In the world we are living today, any clicks or view a user does online can be transformed into meaningful data. However, becoming data-driven seems to be a challenge for many businesses, especially the startups and emerging companies, whether it's global, regional, or local. Even data today is more accessible than ever. According to Harvard Business Review, many managers and executives today make fewer than half of their daily decision based on data. Mm, So as a business owner, so if you're a business owner, we also understand that the change is the only constant. If we are not catching up with the trend and have a good grasp of intelligence about the industry, the market and the competitor, it is very likely to be a company to become obsolete. Even though if you are Fortune 500, do you know that there's only 12% of the Fortune 500 companies that were existed in 1955 are still exist today? A research and intelligence firm in the United States, CBI, compiled 12 reasons why company fail. Out of the 12 reasons, 5 could be easily spotted early and potentially resolved and overcome if the company has access to good quality and relevant data. So it is a widespread misunderstanding that big data is for big company because it needs a big budget, qualified team, expensive platforms, or volumes of data sources. The reality is that it doesn't really take much of an effort to get started in this space. To add on to Jason's presentation just now, the different digital touchpoint here are the traces of consumer interaction and engagement with the different digital channels such as website, search, social, and mobile app. Digital signal in some form or another, it have been around for more than a decade. For example, the matrix that we are very familiar, or the digital signal that we are very familiar, like clicks, right? Clicks data has been around for ages. However, we are now witnessing a dramatic increase in volume of the digital signal. And this trend will only continue to accelerate over the next 2 to 3 years. As digital signals spread through search and social network, the volume and the impact are expanded even more. Given to the importance and the impact, by capturing, analyzing, and leveraging the digital signal are the top priority for many executives. Digital signal review the essentials insights about consumer and what are they thinking, doing to their needs and their interests, their preferences, their opinions, and especially their sentiment. So many executives or manager claim that they are underprepared to deal with the explosion of data, and they are wrestling with the fundamental questions such as which digital signal should we focus on, right? And what insights and opportunity I can obtain from digital signals, and what are the digital signals that are affecting our business, and how do we use digital signals to reach or enable and engage with our customers. The first steps of any data project is to start with asking relevant questions. When defining research questions based on our observation, most of our clients generally do not know what to ask, not because they don't see the issues they're having. Instead, most of the time, what bothers them is, can data really answer my questions, or not sure where to start, or what am I so what I'm saying here is for step 1, right? Don't let the boundary or limitation stop you from asking questions. Remember, sky is not the limit and our mind is. In this section of our presentation, I'm sharing with you 10 different use cases on how brands use digital signals to answer their business questions. So when there is a scarcity of data about your industry, not just locally, but also globally. So our client Happy Bunch uses digital signal in a very creative way. When it comes to a question like, what is my estimated market size, right? What is the market that I'm playing with? And what we have done with Happy Bunch is to use total site visits across all the industry players with the estimated conversion rate and the average value per transaction to estimate the current market size and also the year-over-year growth rate of the industry. As a business owner, Happy Bunch also know that they have some key competitor or rivals in the market, and you want to see whether if you should defend your market share or there's a room to grow the market before taking over your competitors' market share. So in this case, Happy Bunch look into the site visits per capita and compare it with the neighboring country like Singapore to determine the potential of market size, and to this help them strategize their next move, whether they should grow the market first or to win over the market share. Besides estimating the market share, data signal can also help you to understand your customers' preference and behavior, which could be beneficial when planning your business expansion. So other than using search signals to understand the key determinants of what potential customer are looking for when searching for new workspace, our client Colony also uses search signals to identify the demand and possible future expansion based on the location searched by the user when they are looking for a co-working space. So if you have a product launch for a new category that have not been launched in Malaysia before, a car brand like Toyota, right? They want to find out what is the public sentiments towards electric cars, especially after our government make an announcement on the incentive of electric vehicle. And they also want to know what are the general concern about electric vehicles to make sure that they can address those concerns in their future launch campaign. So we help Toyota to look into the search signal pertaining to electric vehicles. We read and interpret those keywords and the way how the user search for information to identify the user's sentiments towards the launch of electric cars in Malaysia. So regardless whether your product is high involvement or low involvement product, you want to know how many options or seller your customers considered before purchasing, and who are those sellers they are competing with you with the same set of customers. Knowing this information will help you create a different kind of approach to distinguish your offerings from your competitor. So from here, Toyota understands that they have a highest overlap with the Japanese car model for more than 15% of their customers also visited the other car brand website within the same day. So other than cross visitation, right, brand also can find out where they stand among their competition on based on digital signals. For this use case, Maybank is already a #1 bank in Malaysia, right? So when it comes to the specific segments like Maybank Privilege Banking, they uses total traffic from to their websites and average visit duration that the visitors spend on their website to evaluate their competitive edge on how they perform among the other players within the market. So as such, they know what is the issues with their current approach and possibly find a solution of becoming better. Other than that, digital signal can also help you to find out how your competitors drive traffic to their website and compare it with your own marketing strategy. So you could identify the gaps in what opportunity you are missing. At the same time, you will know your advantage over your competitor and continue to develop a strong footprint in that particular area. By looking into search signals, on the other hand, Happy Bunch find out who are the ones sharing the traffic with them when users search for a specific keywords about gift and flower. And they use this information to refine and determine whether to invest more in order to defend those keywords or take an offensive approach by bidding their competitor keywords. As for Colony, the competition in the co-working space industry is fierce. So they are not sure whether if they're spending enough, especially post-COVID. So a lot of business owners might have the same thought as well by thinking whether should they reduce their marketing spend. So as a marketing manager, right, if you could go back to your boss, right, and start monitoring your competitors' spend, it could help you to justify more marketing budget. So you can prevent to lose more. Instead, you can gain more coverage and market share in return. So especially when it comes to optimizing the marketing dollar. Using social signals, you can find out what best social strategy and content your competitor use to drive higher engagement. So like Carson, for example, instead of producing underperforming content, using search signals or customer engagement signal, it can be a shortcut to them, right? For fast track the learning without wasting more money and time. So learn from your competition is another key thing to take away here. So from a marketing perspective, I believe we're pretty familiar on how data signal can help us understand our customers and their behaviors. Other than your own data collected by your web analytics tool or your CRM platform, Custom also uses data provided by SimilarWeb to understand their audience persona outside of their website by looking into what website their customers visited in a day to make sure they go where their customer go and be present on the channels that their potential customer are very likely to spend time on. So from becoming data informed to data driven is a journey. So the sooner you get on board with the journey, the sooner you will reach your goal. While what we say could sound complicated and sometimes scary, but you have us here to help you throughout the journey, regardless whether you are at which data milestone. So both SimilarWeb and InPlainSight are here to assist you from wanting to outsource the analysis to us or help us building your analytics team in-house. So we are here to make big data small. We help companies overcome the confusion of big data and onboard with data-driven strategy that allows you to understand more about your customers, the trend, to gain competitive advantage, generate insights, actionable insights, most importantly, and to be useful and achieve a long-term business longevity. So we have been here since 2019. The founders and the management team has more than 15 years experience in the digital marketing industry. So our team comprises analysts and consultants with knowledge across different data platforms such as Google Analytics, Kanta, Datorama, Comscore, or Seismic by Amazon. So in addition, we also have experience with working with brands and company in different scale and sizes. So companies from the like of Samsung to DBS to Maybank and local digital platform like Custom and Happy Bunch that we share with you the use case just now. So for you guys who attend the session today, you will be entitled for a free diagnosis session. Our consultant will work with you to understand the challenge you are facing when it comes to data and help you to decipher your issues and suggest a solution for you as well. So by attending the session, you could walk away with a free SimilarWeb report worth $200. So you can just scan the QR code and book a session. So that is all for our sharing today. Do you guys have any question? May I ask how much cost subscriptions of SimilarWeb package?
Yeah, so I think maybe I will answer that question. So it's from Elton. SimilarWeb subscription plan is actually fully customizable. So it actually depends on what kind of data that you need. So what we can actually advise you better is feel free to book a session with us for us to understand your data requirement. Then from there, we can actually provide a subscription plan that actually suits for your business. So I would say it would be something that maybe start from $6,000 for a year. And yeah, book a session with us, then we can actually provide you more details on that.
Yep. Do we have any more questions? No question?
Guys, don't be shy. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat box, or if not, you can actually unmute yourself, all right, and then ask our speakers directly. Oh, there's another question. Yeah.
Yep, I think it's from Rachel to ask about what's the difference between SimilarWeb and SEM
Rush.
Yeah. So I would say it's different type of data methodology. The way that we're collecting data is different from Rush. Most of the time, Rush is actually known as their keywords tool. SimilarWeb is more on an all-in-one solution. So we provide keyword analysis, we provide competitive analysis. Just to highlight one key strength of SimilarWeb over Rush here is that, as I mentioned, we provide data in real-time basis. So a lot of time, if you use SimilarWeb keyword research, you can actually identify the search trend that happenings right now. Okay, so it's back to the data methodology, and basically this is the key differences. So I believe if today you are looking into a tools that can help you to look into competitive analysis and also to help you in perform your data-driven marketing plan, why not try SimilarWeb? Because it's an all-in-one solution.
So I'll paste the link to the booking engine. So if you guys did not grab the QR code just now, so you can get it from the chat.
Yep, and at the same time, I also drop my email address in the chat. So if let's say you have you would like to learn more about our data methodology, about the data that SimilarWeb provide, feel free to drop me an email. And and then we can actually have a session to discuss further. Okay, so I think let's book a session with us, because during the session we will actually go through the insight about your company, give us a set of your competitor and your own website, and definitely during the session you will actually see some interesting insight between you and your competitor.
All right, cool. Guys, do we have any more questions? Because actually we have come to the end of the session today, and we still have a little bit more time to spare. Is any more questions? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, no worries.
There's one more.
Oh.
Sorry. We'll be able to find how much our competitors spend on Google Ad. To some extent, yeah. You could be able to find out if it's on Google, on search, yeah. So on SEM, you pretty much can find out. So for the rest of the channel, we will just have to sort of estimate based on site visit and stuff like that. Yeah. Yep. And yep. And you can look back to 24 months as well. So you can compare what they spent last year and what they spent this year. So whether they have increased your spend, so you can go back to your boss and ask for more money. Yeah, in that instance. Yeah. Cool. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining the session. So feel free to reach out to us or book a session. So hope to have a more in-depth conversation with you guys. So I think I have a little announcement here as well. So in probably 2 months time, so InPlainSight is going to launch an e-commerce portal for the InPlainSight marketplace that the industry report and trend will be available directly through our platform. So if you think that you just want to download a report for a one-off pitch or whatsoever, so feel free to visit our website. And with collaborating with SimilarWeb, we also will just recently, probably in the next couple of days, we will launch a latest crypto trend report as well. If you are interested, also please go to our website and probably sign up for interest, and we can send a copy or reach out to Jason, we can send a copy of that crypto report. So either you are investor, you want to invest in crypto, or you are starting up a fintech company, feel free to go and download. So it's free for everybody.
All right, cool.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, all right, yeah. Thanks a lot, Joey and Jason, for today as well. And yeah, I hope everyone has gotten the maximum takeaway from today's session, right? Thanks, Joey and Jason, for great sharing today. So
Thank
guys,
you.
so we have come to the end today, and hope you guys enjoyed today. And don't forget to stay tuned to WORQ's page on our social media. Do follow and like us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at WORQ, right, for more events and more updates for you guys. And then also keep a lookout on also InPlainSight's website and also on SimilarWeb's website for more updates as well.
Yep.
All right, so thank you so much, everyone, and I hope to see you guys in our next event. All right, thanks
you.
a lot, Joey and
Thanks,
Jason.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Wanning.
you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, you guys too. Bye-bye.
See you.